Hey there, Dr. JP Guidry here. We're going to talk a little bit about in-season training, things to kind of focus on, how that may differ from off-season training. So the biggest difference for me is just the volume of work you're going to be doing in the gym. So off-season, we're going to spend more time in the gym. We're going to go heavier. We're going to do more sets, reps. We're going to have a goal of making as much progress as we can, as well as kind of shoring up any issues, injuries, things you kind of come off the season with. But we have more time, we have more energy to put into that for most people because the golf clubs go away, or the time and effort spent working on golf tends to go down. So we can have more energy, time to devote to that. So when in-season comes around, obviously the amount of time we're going to spend swinging a golf club and practice and play is going to ramp up. Therefore, we need to balance that out by ramping down what we're doing in the gym to a degree. So that doesn't mean we necessarily stop training for strength. Definitely doesn't mean that. It doesn't even necessarily mean we stop training heavy. How we go about it may differ. How much volume we do, the intensity, that type of thing may change a little bit, but and that's what we're going to kind of talk about today. So my number one goal for in-season training is to still maintain strength. So too many people I see drop strength training altogether. So my goal with my golfers at all levels is to come out of the golf season at least as strong as they went into it, if not stronger. So that means we're going to continue training heavy to a degree. We're going to continue to big compound movements, squats, deadlifts, lunges, bench presses, chest press versions, whatever that may be, rows, pull-ups, pull-downs, shoulder presses, those type of movements. The big difference is we're going to be doing a lot less volume with that. We may, so instead of, let's say, 5 sets of 5, we may do 3 sets of 5 or 3 sets of 3. We may do just 2 sets. We may just do 1 heavy day a week instead of 3 to 4 heavy days a week, whatever that may be. There's a lot of variations that we can do this, and a lot of that depends on each client's schedule and outlook and tournament schedule and things like that. But we're still going to be doing some degree of heavy strength training. I want to keep the intensity high. Now what we may do is leave a few more reps in reserve. So instead of pushing closer to that max, let's say your 5 rep max is 200 pounds. We may do 2 or 3 reps with 200 pounds, or we may do 5 reps with 180 pounds, something where you're leaving a little more in the tank. Each rep's still going to have that intensity. We're still trying to move the bar as fast as we can with as much intent we can for each rep. We're just not going to necessarily fatigue ourselves. The other thing we tend to do a lot less of is slower eccentric training, because that tends to tax the body more. Maybe focus more on bar speed, more on that explosiveness, and less on kind of the slow, heavy strength training. But we're still going to be doing some strength training with the goal of maintaining that strength we've gained in the off season. So number 2 would be less volume, which we talked about, and even reps in reserve. So that's that leaving some reps in the tank in each set and each rep. Less volume again. We're just going to do less overall heavy strength training on a weekly basis or monthly basis or within each workout. We're going to spend more time moving fast. So although we still don't want to not do speed and power training in the off season, we want to maintain that. We may bias this or load our workouts a little more heavy towards speed training, and that can be speed lifts, variations of those strength movements. That can be jumps. That can be medicine ball throws. That can be medicine ball slams, sprints. Those are kind of the main ones I'm going to use in my protocols and my programs. Again, we're going to move fast, keep the volume relatively low, focus on intensity with each rep, and then make sure we're covering very well in between sets within that and in between workouts. So the bulk of our workouts are going to be a little more heavy bias towards moving fast rather than slow, heavy strength training. Number 4 is we're going to shore up weak or injured areas. So the goal is to keep you playing. The goal is to keep you and give you the ability to practice and play as much as you need to perform at your best when golf season comes in. So especially for those that are tournament golfers, we want to keep you the ability to continue playing and making tournaments and practicing and preparing for those and putting in the work that comes with that. So, we're going to maybe do some more work that is going to be geared towards keeping you healthy, geared towards moving well, geared towards addressing any specific issues, limitations, weaknesses you have, any injuries you might be dealing with or may have a history of, to make sure we kind of keep you healthy and maintaining that ability to practice and play as much as you want. Number 5 is just overall rep management. We'll kind of put recovery in that. So again, that's reps in the gym, reps on the course, reps on the practice range. We want to spend more time on quality over quantity. We want to make sure we're balancing everything out in your life, as well as whatever else you have going on outside of golf itself. So family, work, kids, travel, all these things that go into it that we kind of have to recover from and balance from. Remembering that golfers at every level, even at the highest level, they're still human beings. They still go through life stressors, and our workouts may change along with that. So, if you're going through a very stressful period, we may be docking down even more on volume and just making sure we're getting you moving and focus on mental health, focus on getting the basics done and making sure we're recovering, obviously prioritizing nutrition and sleep, which again is kind of another topic on itself, but making sure we're balancing everything else in life around your training, around your practice, around your play. And lastly is making sure that nothing in the gym should take away from practice and play. So what I mean by that is nothing you do in the gym should inhibit your ability to go out and practice and play as much as you want. So if you run into that problem, if you're not recovering, if you're sore, if you don't have the energy, if time-wise you're having to kind of make these decisions, again, that's why working with a coach is important. That's our job, to kind of help you figure out how to balance that out with everything. But in the end, golf season, the skill development of golf is important. And when we're playing and ramping up tournament and we need to perform, ultimately that takes the highest rank. So we need to make sure you have the time to work on those skill develop, to work on that practice, to work on your swing, to get those reps in that are going to matter much more in performance than what we're doing in the gym, that we don't take away anything from that. So the goal is to build your workouts around that schedule now. So in the off season, the workouts may kind of fill in more of the gaps and the schedule may go more around those, where in the in season, the workouts are fit around your schedule. So if you're a tournament golfer, depending on days you're playing, especially professionals, we got practice rounds, we've got programs, we've got all these things we're trying to fit in. And so the workouts need to be efficient and succinct, hit the areas we need to hit at the very least, keep you moving, keep you strong, hit your areas that you're lagging at, and move on, and get back to the things that are going to matter the most for performing on the course. So just a little overview of how I approach in-season training. Obviously the higher the level, the more specific these things get. For my, recreational golfers, weekend golfers that are just playing more, it's usually more of a time and schedule thing. Around all the other excess things they have, family, work, things like that. So we're fitting that in, make sure we're getting the meat of what we need to in to keep them healthy, keep them performing, keep them strong. Tournament golfers, juniors, professionals that I work with, we get more specific with scheduling and off weeks, on weeks, travel, all that stuff. And again, the same principles are going to apply though. So trying to keep them strong, trying to keep them healthy and durable throughout the season, making sure we're prioritizing practice and play, and not taking away from their performance, and understanding where the priorities lie in season versus off season. So if you have any questions, reach out to me, johnpaul@guidrypt.com. Find me on social media, Guidry Golf and Sport, or you can find more out about me at www.guidrygolfandsport.com.